There is growing noise around the Green Bay Packers and their situation with the contract of Matt LaFleur. Has the Green Bay Packers reached their breaking point with head coach Matt LaFleur? We're going to talk about it. And then it appears that the New York Giants are going all in on John Harbaugh. And I believe they should. Y'all know we're going to talk about it, break it all down, but you got to hear the music first.
Welcome to your number one spot for all NFL news and content, NFL Central.
What's going on, NFL fans? Welcome back into another episode of NFL Central, your number one spot for everything NFL. I'm your host here, Bobby, and I'm holding it down on today's daily episode. So if you're ready to talk some football talk, go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe. But hey, just this past weekend, the Green Bay Packers took a horrifying loss to my Chicago Bears. And it was one of those games that was just wild on both ends. The way that it started, the way that it ended. And after the game concluded, guys around the NFL, more specifically those networks in Wisconsin and the Green Bay Packers fans, have been going crazy on head coach Matt LaFleur, and rightfully so when you lose in that fashion. And right now, or at least when the season concluded, there were reports from Adam Schefter that suggested that president of football for the Green Bay Packers and Ed Policy and Matt LaFleur will come to the table and try to work out a deal to move forward and continue Matt LaFleur's coaching reign or tenure in Green Bay. But as it currently stands, it seemed like there may be a little bit of a standoff right now with the Green Bay Packers and re-signing Matt LaFleur. Adam Schefter, his evaluation of the situation, at least right now, he said getting an extension done is up in the air right now for the Green Bay Packers and Matt LaFleur. He went on to say this: there is no deal right now, and it's a negotiation. When there is a negotiation and there is no deal, there could be a breakthrough any moment. And I think both sides would like to make that happen. But it's now 7:37 Central Time on Wednesday, and they have been trying to do this for a little while. They still have not gotten it figured out. And the longer it lingers out there, the more you wonder where it's going to go and how it's going to result. Right now, how I interpret it right now, it's up in the air, end quote. And the way that I look at it like this, I know y'all see the Bears hat, right? But that does not mean I want to see Matt LaFleur go. I understand everything that comes with it. I can absolutely go out there and be petty, but I'm not going to be petty. I'm going to go out there and be objective about Matt LaFleur. Matt LaFleur is a hell of a coach. Is he perfect? No. Does he struggle with some game management stuff here and there? Yes. But Matt LaFleur can really coach his ass off, in my personal opinion, from the outside looking in, speaking objectively here. I moved past the game between the Green Bay Packers and the Chicago Bears just a little bit, but this is not the time to go out there and toot my horn and be petty. This is a moment to give proper evaluation of the situation with the Green Bay Packers and Matt LaFleur, and that's what I'm going to do. Now, if we're looking at everything that has transpired for Matt LaFleur over the last few years, Green Bay Packers, you guys have a right to be ticked off about it. Matt LaFleur in his last 6 playoff games, he's 1-5. The last 3 seasons, the Green Bay Packers have lost in the playoffs to the 49ers, the Eagles, and the Chicago Bears. But here's the thing. Now that the Chicago Bears seem to be pointing in the right direction, and after years of getting beat up by the Green Bay Packers, I want my Chicago Bears to face the Green Bay Packers at their best. That's the real creation of the rivalry and reviving it after seeing so many years of inept coaching and performances from my Chicago Bears. Green Bay Packers, I know y'all ticked off. I know all y'all want Matt LaFleur fired. but I want him to remain in that seat so we can beat y'all head up. That's the competitor in me. I don't want it to be a cakewalk. I want those 3 games that we seen this season to where the last moments of the game decides the game, and that's the fan base that get to talk they shit. That's how I want it to be. And if you are a Green Bay Packer fan listening right now, I believe, even if you still ticked off about what transpired over the weekend, I believe you would agree. You want to face the Chicago Bears straight up. Because over the last few seasons, if we keeping it a buck, the Bears ain't had a chance. Now we have a chance. Our head coach don't like Matt LaFleur, and I'm pretty sure Matt LaFleur don't like Ben Johnson. We don't like y'all. Y'all don't like us. Let's settle with mano we mano while everybody's at their best and get the damn job done for bragging rights, for the NFC North division rights. So we can go out there and grate cheese, or y'all can go out there and say the Bears is still a poverty franchise. That's the type of competition I'm entertaining. I don't understand why some Packers fans want him gone. I understand it that there is sometimes he makes bonehead decisions. But there has to be some aspect of the discussion to where you say players have to make plays too. You know what I'm saying? Matt LaFleur is not always out there throwing the ball. Matt LaFleur is not always out there tackling and catching the ball. In fact, he's not out there at all. But it is his job to place you guys in the right position. Now, if the Packers have reached their breaking point, Matt LaFleur will be hired within 48 hours. That lets you know how people feel about him. Yes, he has ran into his issues over the last few seasons, but that does not mean it's time to let Matt LaFleur go. Again, the competitor in me, the Chicago Bears fan in me, wants to see the Green Bay Packers at their best so we can have bragging rights in Chicago over the Green Bay Packers. Those 3 games ended with Nixon ending the game, Caleb Williams ending the game, and the defense getting the stop in the final seconds. The shit was crazy. It was bonkers. We as rivals should want that. So that's what I want. I don't want them to reach their breaking point and let go Matt LaFleur, because I don't necessarily know if there's another candidate right now that can go out there and do that. Maybe a John Harbaugh, but he has his issues as well in the playoffs. Let's keep it real. He has his issues with holding on 2 leads as well throughout seasons. No coach is perfect. No team is perfect. I don't think it's time to move on from Matt LaFleur. But if your Green Bay Packers, again, I said it before, if you guys want to be crazy and let Matt LaFleur go, and let the Bears just completely dominate the rivalry for years to come, be my guest. But I want us to be lined up, lockstep, fair and square, mano y mano, to see who has the right to talk shit to the other rivalry. And that's what I'm looking forward to. So if they reach their breaking point, I don't know. Do I believe they should fire Matt LaFleur? I don't think so. I still believe he's a hell of a coach. He's a hell of an offensive mind. He can go out there and do things necessary. And then he just got to tighten up a few things. And sometimes you got to get your heart broken to understand what you have to do to close out some of these games and properly control the clock. I ain't ready to move off of him, but that's not my coach. I'm riding with Ben Johnson. I'm hoping that we can keep this rivalry going at the same level as it has been all season long. But we'll see what happens. And I'll keep you all informed on what's going to transpire over the next few weeks with Matt LaFleur's situation. Comment and let me know your thoughts below. Now, before we get up out of here, we got to talk about John Harbaugh. It appears that the Giants are going all in on John Harbaugh. These guys have had meetings over over the internet. They brought him into the facility. They've done dinner. And I think this is exactly what the New York Giants should be doing. Key in on your candidate and go all in. John Harbaugh, for all the things that I just previously mentioned, for him having his flaws, he is a culture builder. He can build a culture in New York that will be much better than what Brian Daboll allowed in that locker room. We talking about young rookies showing up to meetings late and doing a bunch of bonehead stuff. John Harbaugh, I believe, will come in, clean that up, and get the culture set to where it needs to be. This is a hard-nosed coach who has been around football all his life. He can handle New York media even when y'all be losing y'all mind. John Harbaugh can handle that. And then on the flip side, I know there's going to be some people that go out there and say, well, John Harbaugh is not an offensive mind or a defensive mind, which is true. But then at the same damn time, John Harbaugh knows how to pick good coordinators. We can't forget about Greg Roman. He had his flaws, but still a hell of a OC. We can't forget about Todd Monken, who had his flaws, but still was a good enough OC. We see Mike McDonald right now in Seattle, and Zach Orr is getting some looks at jobs right now. John Harbaugh is the guy that can go out there and be the CEO for the New York Giants to hopefully get them started in the right direction. And John Harbaugh, I think it will behoove him to be interested. Don't just fully lean into it, but you go out there and do your due diligence on the landscape and figure it out. Simply because you have a young up and coming quarterback who can run like Lamar, who can throw, not to that level as of yet right now in his career, but he has a similar style to where the quarterback you were just coaching, he has a similar skill set. Not that dynamic of a skill set yet in his young career, but a similar style of play. Then you have yourself a running back. You have yourself a hell of a left tackle already. Need to do some more patchwork to the offensive line, but you have pieces in the trenches. Then you got Malik Neighbors. Then you got some draft picks to go out there and get some more offensive weapons to help bolster up that Giants offense. Then defensively, the New York Giants, you got Brian Burns, Kayvon Thibodeau, Sexy Dexy, and Abdul Carter on the defensive line in your trenches. That's a hell of a start to have. And me personally, they let me down because I thought that the defensive line was going to be a terror this season. However, coaching played a part of that, and I believe John Harbaugh can clean it up. And then I know there's going to be some Giants fans that may be tuning in right now who say, what about Joe Schoen, the GM? Look, Joe Schoen did a horrible job with the Saquon Barkley stuff, but at some point, y'all got to let it go. It's on his track record for sure. You can bring it up. But he has done and made some solid moves, maybe not the greatest, but some solid moves in certain areas to where you can look at his track record and say he knows how to find talent and make some good draft picks. Now you work in that with John Harbaugh and work closely with him and see how y'all can improve this team, and you might have something in the NFC East. It's not guaranteed. Nothing is guaranteed year over year. But you might give yourself a chance to compete within the NFC East to where you have the Eagles searching for offensive answers right now, the Dallas Cowboys trying to find and patch up their defense right now, the Washington Commanders looking for coordinators and all that stuff right now, and plus trying to get younger because they're so damn old right now. If the New York Giants go and get John Harbaugh, you have a shot to improve this team over 1 year. We'll see. We'll see. It's going to come down to the entire offseason, what decisions you make with selections and all that stuff, of course. But with so many things going on with the other teams within the NFC East, you give yourself a legit chance, but it has to start with a solid foundation. And that's coming from the top. That's going to have to start at the owner, go down to Joe Schoen, go down to John Harbaugh, and trickle down to Jackson Dart and telling them stop trying to get his head knocked off. That's what it's going to come down to for the New York Giants. It has to be a trickle-down effect with those four guys, and then the message spreads throughout the locker room, and hopefully that locker room voice then can spread on the actual football field. But it is not said and done. It is not set in stone. I do give the Giants credit for going all in, which they should, but it's still ultimately up to John Harbaugh on what he wants to do. I think that is the best spot for him right now. The only other contender may be Atlanta, but they have a quarterback question right there that's huge. But you still got a number of pieces in Atlanta too. And I have not seen anything stating that he interviewed with them. I didn't see that out there. If I missed it, somebody let me know, please. But the Giants, go all in. I think that'll be a hell of a candidate to snatch up, and we'll see what happens. But hey, that is it for me today, y'all. I appreciate y'all for tuning in to another episode of NFL Central. Before you get up out of here, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell as well, man. I appreciate y'all. Make sure you always love football, and you already know. I'm going to catch y'all on the next one for sure.
This has been a presentation of the Breaks